Maybe you're a bit of a map lover. Maybe you are from Wales, or you have some Welsh heritage, or maybe you visited Wales a little bit as a kid and you have very happy memories. Whichever the case, I hope this ASMR video meant principally to help you relax and maybe even fall asleep. Perhaps it might be interesting to watch as well. But yeah, welcome to the channel. This is Welsh ASMR 82. Hey, how you doing? And I am Welsh, and this is my home. Well, not here exactly. And I really hope you enjoy this video. If you want to, you can drop me a comment and tell me your relationship with Wales, whether you've been, whether you are going to visit. Maybe you have some Welsh ancestry if you're watching from the States or maybe England. And yeah, so we're going to look a little bit more at the north of the country in this episode, because I did one previously and we looked more at the south. So there's going to be a lot of tracing. It's mostly going to be soft-spoken ASMR, but I will occasionally slip into a whisper. I know you quite like that. Be lots of tracing and reading out the place names. I'm a Welsh speaker. Second language, not first language, unfortunately. English is my first language. So at least I can pronounce all the difficult place names. Very difficult for English speakers to get their mouth around. Okay, let's get started. I'm gonna have to bend and break the map a little bit to get it where I want to. But yeah, we'll get there. Okay, let me just fiddle with it for a second, hang on. Okay, so this is the northwestern tip of Wales. Crucially, we've got Ynys Môn, which is the Isle of Anglesey, or just Anglesey for short. This is Wales's largest island, and it may shock you, but we don't actually have that many islands, and I'm sure if you count all of the really tiny ones, like, oh, this one's out of shot for you, but there's one at the end of the peninsula there, the Llŷn Peninsula. But yeah, in general, we don't really have that many islands, and certainly not big ones. So that's how we're different to, say, Scotland, which has hundreds of islands. Just at the top here, you can see Caergybi, which is Holyhead. So for context, just across the water here is more or less Dublin in Ireland. So there's a boat to Holyhead, Dublin, Holyhead, I think maybe like every day or something. And this area here, the island itself, Ynys Môn, is, as I said, the biggest island. Holyhead is actually Holy Island itself, so it's another island. So two islands. And then this here is, well, this is Conwy Bay. And this area here is really, really important. Not only is it a very large Welsh-speaking area, but there are some very important places here, towns and cities. I'm going to start off with Caernarfon. Now, Caernarfon here, let me just zoom in a little bit for you. It goes a bit jumpy on this camera, but it'll be fine. Okay, so Caernarfon is a beautiful, beautiful town, famous for its massive castle, and that's just on the coast here. This is the, I always forget the name, is the Menai Strait. It's this bit of water here, I think it's called the Menai Strait. Yeah, I think it says there. And this is Carnarvon Bay, just over here. And this is actually just, next to the Irish Sea. And this is Conwy Bay. So Carnarvon is here, and then just up the road we've got Bangor. And the Menai Bridge connects the mainland of Wales over to the Isle of Anglesey. Bangor itself is another beautiful town in the north. It, forgive me if I say town, but I can't remember which are cities. I know Wrexham is now a city, but I think some of these still have town statuses even though they're quite large towns. Bangor is a university town, really, really famous for its university, so really good sort of young population, particularly in term time. And, oh god, am I going to do this? Just here, all Welsh people know what I'm going to say. Can I zoom in any further? Not much. Not without it going out of sight. There is a place here, and it has the longest place name in the longest or the second longest in Europe, one of the longest place names in the world, and I'm going to let you into a little secret. It's a joke. So, because it's basically like 5 houses and a train station. So I think when they were like building the train station, they made the name as long as the platform. And it's a tourism trap. So basically you go there, there's literally nothing there. There's like an ice cream shop and a train station. I've never been, I really want to go just because it's the whole tourist thing. And when I say to people, oh, I'm Welsh, they're like, oh, say it, say it, say it. So we call it Llanfairpwllgwyn for short. I'll have to get it up on my phone, I can't remember it off the top of my head. But yeah, it's the longest place name in Wales, and it's basically to make you go there and take a picture of the platform with your mobile phone on that whatever mode it is that does the whole shot, and then take your money in the sweet shop or the local area, and then there's nothing else to do. I'm gonna find it on my phone, hang on. Okay, I've opened trusty Wikipedia, because obviously Wikipedia is never lying, never lies, does it? So yeah, Llanfairpwllgwyn, and it says it is so the long form of the name has 58 characters split into 18 syllables. It is the longest place name in Europe and the second longest place name in the world. Second longest one-word place name in the world. That's quite crucial. And it's got pictures. So that's the picture of the station. And that's a local shop. Can't see it very well under here. So it's Llanfairpwllgwyn gyll gogerechwyr drobwll Llantysilio gogogoch. I'm not very good at doing it. Some people can do it like really, really fast. And it's got a sort of guided pronunciation, so if you want to see more about it, just go onto Wikipedia. Apparently 71% of the local population speak Welsh as well, according to good old Wikipedia. Although it is bigger than I thought, because this is something like the 6th largest settlement on the island, which surprised me. So, there is an actual airport in Anglesey as well, but it's tiny, and I think it used to fly to Swansea like once a week or something, but I think it's more or less closed now. So yeah, we've got the Menai Strait there, and Bangor, Llanfair and Carnarvon. We've looked at Holyhead at the top there, and I think before we look at the coastline any further, I think it's really important to point out that, so this is Conwy, the county of Conwy, and Gwynedd is just down here, or you can just see Gwynedd there. And this is mostly, I mean, Wales has got a really small population anyway. There are only about 2.9 million people in Wales. And there are fewer people in the north than in the south, which I think we spoke about in the last video. So a lot of this is just basically like mountains and forests. And as such, the Snowdonia National Park is here. Snowdonia is the largest mountain in Wales and is considered one of the 3 peaks of the British Isles, alongside the largest peak in Scotland and England. Off the top of my head, I think it might be second highest, and the highest is in Scotland. But whenever I do videos, I always forget everything, and then afterwards I'm like cooking and I think, oh yeah, so Ben Nevis is the largest, right, and it's in Scotland. But I got this wrong in a video before, so I think I said Ben Nevis was in England or something. So Blaenau Ffestiniog is there, Betws y Coed is there, and this is a forest. It's all I think all of these places are registered parks, national parks of outstanding beauty, etc. So this is an extremely beautiful area of the world. Porthmadog. Porthmadog is an absolutely stunning seaside village. I really want to go there at some point soon. I've never been. I've never been to the north, just as a disclaimer. I drove through Wrexham a couple of months ago on the way up to northern England, but I've never investigated the north or stopped really. So Snowdonia National Park, mountains, forests. Porthmadog is there. A place called Bethesda is there, so I always have a giggle when I think about Bethesda Games making Skyrim. I don't know if, I think Bethesda, there's probably a, I don't think that's the place name they used as the company name. I think maybe they, so I think they're a Welsh company, I think they're probably American, so there's probably a place in America called Bethesda as a result of this, but yeah, the original Bethesda is in North Wales. And then we go down, and then this is the peninsula, so I'm going to just change the view out. So this is the Llŷn Peninsula, and it juts out. There's an island there. What's it called? Bardsey Island. With that, it's got a church on it apparently. And Abertaron is there. And then Abersoch is there. Pwllheli. So Pwllheli is there. They're also quite famous seaside resorts, probably caravan parks there. Tourism and stuff. And just down here, Barmouth, Abermouth. Never heard of Barmouth before, sorry. And if you keep going down, then you get to Mid Wales and Aberystwyth. So yeah, this is the coastline, and just to remind you, this here, well, that's Tremadog Bay. Cardigan Bay is this massive bit of water down here, and then as we just get a little bit that way, we're in the Irish Sea, okay? As I said, we're just opposite Dublin up there, and this would be opposite, well, further down Ireland. Who are our closest neighbours, not by land, which the only land border we have is with England, of course. So this forest here, obviously must be a massive one, is called Coed y Brenin, is it? Coed y Brenin, it says forest park in English, but Coed y Brenin translates as the King's Forest in Welsh. I didn't realise Bala was there. Bala, Bala in Welsh, is just here. I thought Bala was by the coast, actually. This is just around the Snowdonia National Park there. zoomed in enough for you to be able to see all these peaks. They've got them everywhere. Look, peak, 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 peak. They're not exceptionally high, but they're pretty good. I mean, 700 meters, 657 meters, 854 meters. I mean, big if you're Dutch, I suppose, when you're below the sea level, but yeah, it's not like massive compared to some countries. I'm trying to find Rydd with Greek. Ah, Dolgella, it's just by there. I didn't realise. Yes, just off the coast with Barmouth is Dolgella, Dolgellai. Just south of the forest park, although quite a Brennan. There's a place called Trausfynydd, which literally means like across the mountains. I can't find Snowdonia, but it's there somewhere, I promise. And if you basically, like, I've just noticed that all of these places aren't towns at all, they're all mountain peaks. Literally every single one is just a mountain, 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 mountain. Okay, so let's go to the coast at the top, because there are quite a lot of important places up the top here. So Llanfairfechan is there, and then I'm trying to read this from a distance. Can't see, but it's Perth. Give me a second. Tied up here. That's better. Okay, so Betus a Coed going up. Then you've got, I can't read it, something Maur, something Pen, something Maur, Pen, can't read it, Conwy. So Conwy's there, and then just further up the coast is Llandudno. So these are all beautiful coastline towns. And then Colwyn Bay by Colwyn is here. And if we keep going over the northern border here, Abergele is here, and then this place. Now, RH in Welsh is pronounced an aspirated H, so it's a sound that doesn't exist in most languages, I think. The only two I've come across are Icelandic and Nosa in South Africa. So it is pronounced shrill. So you're like saying a trilled r, and then you're blowing as well, so shrill, shrill. So yeah, shrill is there, and Prestatyn is there. These are all relatively famous larger towns in the northern area. And then when we get here, now we're starting to get to England. So we can see this here is the borderline, and it says there England at the top and Wales at the bottom. So at that point we come back around and we go back out. So Chester is a relatively large town which is just on the border of England and Wales, but it's in the English side. And you will know this area, football fans, because this is Birkenhead, and just across the river there is Liverpool. So many, many, many people in the north support Liverpool as their Premier League football team. And I had a friend from this area, and he spoke curiously, when he spoke English, he spoke with a Liverpudlian accent, but then spoke Welsh like a North Walian. So there is a sort of dialectal continuum of the very distinctive Liverpudlian accent, which has kind of come over to the border, but only affects people when they speak English. As I said before, there are more Welsh speakers in the north than there are in the south, despite having a lower population than the south. There is a higher density of Welsh speakers in the north, so when they speak Welsh it doesn't affect them at all, but when they speak English they sound a little Liverpudlian sometimes. And more important places, St Asaph is here. Now I feel like St Asaph is a city. Is it one of the smaller cities in the UK? Random fact of the day, it might be. I should look this up really, hang on. Okay, so it says Wales has 7 cities. Bangor, which we saw over here, on the border with the island of Anglesey, that's a city. St Asaph is indeed a city. And now we'll come to Wrexham in a second. It's just, where are you, Wrexham? There. So that's also a city nowadays. And in the south then Newport, Cardiff, Swansea and St David's, which again is a tiny place. Okay. And you can see to the north here it says Irish Sea. And this is Liverpool Bay. And then the Mersey is here. Lots of songs about crossing the Mersey because of the relationship with this area and Liverpool here. I think it's this is sort of still, Birkenhead is part of Greater Liverpool, if you see what I mean. Okay, so Holywell is there. That's Holywell. So we've gone St Asaph, Holywell, Flint, Connors Quay. Connors Quay is there. If you travel down, you've got the very attractively named Mold, Rhyddgrug in Welsh, much nicer in Welsh, Mold, and this way you've got Rhythin. Denby is there, which joins up St Asaph, Denby, Rhythin. And then if we travel this way, we'll eventually get to the much larger, now with city status, as of the Queen is the person who's allowed to make a city, and she did it in her, was it her birthday, wasn't it? So she made Wrexham a city, and she made, I think, a new city in Northern Ireland, Scotland and England, I think. So of course Wrexham is particularly famous at the moment because of the football team, which has been bought by the consortium, including Rob McElhenney and the guy that plays Deadpool. I'm terrible with names. I know it was Ryan Reynolds. I'm terrible with names, but when I do videos, my mind goes completely blank. So that's Wrexham, and it's actually in the county nowadays of Wrexham. Denbighshire is here, Flintshire is there, and we've already talked about Conwy and Gwynedd. Yeah, so I think, Llangollen is there. I love Llangollen. Maybe I have been to the north and I think I went there on a school trip. Corwen is there. And then this road connects you all the way to Bettysacoid. So if you're American, none of these are a freeway or a motorway. These are all much slower roads going through mountains. So just for you to be aware, like if you ever travel to Wales by car, the motorway stops here. The motorway is blue. This is the M53 and M56. And then when you cross into Wales, it becomes a slower road. We don't have much we don't have really great, what's it called? Like, infrastructure in Wales. We don't have a motorway, we don't have a railway from north to south. Quite a poor country, really, curiously. We're the poorest in the UK. Okay, so that's the north of lovely Wales. And just looking at last minute places to mention, Llanberis is there, Penacroes is there. Rhysbon. Rhywabon, is it? Rhywabon in Welsh. Rhyw is quite funny. Because depending on how you spell it, it can either mean hill or sex. I'm pretty sure it's talking about a hill. But you know, you never know. Okay, I hope you enjoyed part 2, and I'll do part 3 in the near future. Drop me a comment, and if you really want to subscribe, if you really want to support the channel a little bit more than with a comment or a like, which are perfectly sufficient, and I really appreciate all of your comments and likes, thank you so much, then check the box below, the info box, for details of how to do that, possibly with a super thanks, with a subscription to my Patreon, which gets you a little ramble video once a month from me to say thanks. And there's something else called KOFI, which is just a one-off payment similar to super thanks. Big thank you to the people who have done those for me recently. I really, really, really appreciate it. Thank you for all your support. You're very generous. No need to do it, of course, but if you wish to, then I willingly accept, and I'm very grateful. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon, okay? Take care, everyone. As we say in Wales,